Okay, so as we're talking about simulators, we are going to start with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Flight Simulator is truly a work of art. It is a technical marvel when it comes to video games. The developers of Flight Simulator managed to use satellite mapping to map the entire planet Earth. They used algorithms and AI to be able to fill in the gaps of what the satellite imagery did not produce for the simulator. So you can literally fly to your house, you can fly to your childhood house, you can fly over the school you went to, you can fly over your hometown, or you can fly over where you work, no matter where that is in the world. Pilots all across the globe use Flight Simulator to teach uh, themselves as well as others how to fly airplanes, how to handle the systems within a specific airplane. Everything, all the planes that are in the simulator are all perfectly modeled. Every switch, every knob, every device works as it does in real life. So you can quite literally pick a plane that you are going to be flying in real life and learn all the systems and how to operate the fuel pumps and the navigation system and the avionics and the alternators and all the things that you have to learn to turn on pre-flight, during the flight, and after the flight. You can learn all of that in Flight Simulator and use that knowledge when you fly a plane in real life. And some of the biggest airplane uh, companies, some of the biggest companies in the world that make private airplanes, use simulators to teach their buyers how to handle and operate their planes before they use the plane after purchasing it. So it's something that has become widely used and widely accepted as a really worthy way of teaching people and learning about how to fly in a safe environment. So next we're going to talk about sim racing, and in sim racing it's the same idea but a different formula. In sim racing, everything is about the interaction between the track and the car. The car is of course riding on tires, and the tires have built-in physics that measure tire pressure. Tire pressure affects tire temperature, the ambient temperature in the world around the track, the temperature outside basically affects the heated surface of the track. It affects, and that heated surface, depending on how hot it gets, affects the tire pressure within the tires. If the tires get too hot, they become slick. They become hard to control. The car becomes hard to control. You add that to things like weight management. You have weight balance changes that you can do to the car, brake bias changes that you can do to the car, fuel management, which affects the weight of the car. If you have too much fuel, you weigh the car down and you slow it down. So you have to do calculations to bring just the right amount of fuel so that you can finish the race without having excess fuel, because if you have excess fuel, you'll be slower than the driver next to you. These drivers that we're watching right now are in a sim league, and they come from all over the world. There's drivers here from South America, from the United States, from Canada, from the UK, and they all get together on a Saturday night and race on the same track in their different cars, and they're able to experience this level of simulation from the comfort of their own home. And teams around the world use this technology to train their drivers. Professional drivers are limited in how much track time they can get, so these simulators are used to help train their drivers. Some of these teams spend $500 million a year on R&D, on research and development, and on driver training and things like that, and they choose to use these simulators to train their drivers because they have become so real that it prepares the driver at a very low cost. It prepares the driver for what he's going to experience out on the track on race day. It allows them to get as much practice as they want, unlike real life where they are limited in how much time they can actually get behind the wheel. So next we're going to talk about tactical shooters. Now with tactical shooters, these have really come a long way in the last few years. Tactical shooters are first-person shooters that are trying to simulate real-life situations and scenarios. They're giving you tasks to perform. This particular game that we're seeing right now is called Ready or Not. You play as a SWAT team operative. As the SWAT team, you have to work together with your teammates. You have to coordinate. You have to communicate. You see how we're breaching doors here, making our way in. We have civilians that we have to secure and make sure they're safe. So you secure the civilians while constantly looking out for the bad guys. The bad guys, whether they be armed with guns or knives or explosives, there's all different types of forces that you come up against. You have to learn how to identify a friendly versus a hostile target while you are in an intense situation where you can very quickly die. You have to work together, you have to communicate well together the whole time to let each other know when you go into a room, okay, the left is clear, okay, the right is clear. You have to communicate constantly. Let me check this closet. Closet is clear, so on and so forth. You work together as a team. These types of simulators are also used by police forces, and even the U.S. military uses these types of simulators for the troops. There's a simulator that we're about to see here in just a minute of a game called Arma 3. Now, Arma 3 is a spin-off, not a spin-off, it's a extension of a game called VBS 3. And in VBS 3 is actually used by the United States military as well as other militaries around the world to train their troops for large-scale insertions, for tactical insertions, amphibious missions where they start from a ship and make their way onto the mainland, night ops where they use night vision, and so many more things they use to train their soldiers. So this is not only used by the United States but several countries around the world, and it's right here in video game form for enthusiasts to play. It's not as fun as some other games might be. There's not as much of a happy-go-lucky feel to it. It's very serious, it's very gritty, but it gives you a realistic experience where you have to worry about bullet ballistics and bullets traveling through soft cover like barriers and walls and doors and things like that. This is Arma 3 that we're looking at right now. Arma 3 is the one that is connected to VBS 3, which is used by the government. They train soldiers how to pilot helicopters and jets, how to operate tanks and vehicles, and how to use all the weaponry you use to destroy those types of vehicles as well. So next we're going to talk about DCS, and DCS is another flight simulator, but this one, unlike the Microsoft Flight Simulator, DCS is focused on combat. It is a aerial combat simulator, air-to-air, and it is about as realistic gets. It's very, very difficult to learn how to fly in DCS. It is something that is extremely time consuming. You have to do so much research about each jet. Each aircraft that you fly has so many things to learn. You have to learn about that jet's radar systems, their internal systems, fuel usage. You have to learn about its countermeasure systems. Every jet has different countermeasures that protect it from incoming enemies. You have weapon systems that you have to learn. You have to learn what makes a missile more deadly, what makes it less deadly. If you shoot a good shot, your missile is more likely to hit. You see right here, I'm actually avoiding a missile that is incoming. You can hear that beeping. That is an incoming warning that a missile is on its way. When that maneuver started, I was moving at over Mach 1, but I have scrubbed a ton of speed off, so I'm moving much, much slower now, but I was able to dodge the missile, and now I'm re-engaging the target. You see the target is that little square right there. So I'm going to fire on the target. He's trying to avoid me while also setting himself up for the next shot. So that missile is on its way. waiting to see if it's going to hit, trying to keep him in front of me, but he is going to turn and come back towards me. You see, there's another missile away. That's a third missile, and he is down. You see the notification there. I got him, but I had to dodge his missile as I was taking him down. He almost got me with his second missile. So the intensity of the air-to-air combat and the maneuvers that you experience after learning so much, you learn so much to be able to fly in a simulator like this, and then to be able to put it together to actually perform in a situation that tense against another player who's also trained a ton of time to be able to do it, is really, really rewarding. All of these simulators are extremely difficult, but they are all extremely rewarding once you conquer the challenges that you have to be successful. And the things that you learn in these simulators are real world tactical knowledge, or real world operational knowledge